If you ever wondered what people did for fun before there were drones, then you'll be so glad you stuck around for more Explore Tulsa.
Well, this is National Kite Flying Month, and just like board games, kites have been around for centuries.
Some of the earliest written accounts of kites come from military use during the Han Dynasty in 200 BC. You gotta watch those kite flyers.
Or you can just join them, like the folks at the Tulsa Wind Riders.
One day I was fishing on my boat and I found a kite in a tree. I hooked that kite onto a fishing pole that I wasn't using and we towed it around behind the boat the rest of that afternoon. Lost that kite in a tree just like I found it, and it was many years later when I met these guys and ended up going and buying my first kite.
I always flew kites as a child. We made box kites out of butcher paper and we used bed sheets for tails and stuff, and as I got older I found two-line controllable kites, stunt kites that you can steer around in the sky. And that got me interested. I got a beginner one of those and just took off from there. Found some of the kiting magazines that are out, the American Kite Flyers Association, and I just took off from there.
So, about 3 years ago, I moved to Tulsa from Topeka, Kansas. Before I moved down here, I owned my own photography business for several years. I grew up going to the Topeka Air Show. It was called Super Baddox in Topeka. And eventually they phased that out and I started going to the hot air balloon rally. And every once in a while at the hot air balloon rally, there'd be some guys flying kites. I never really picked up a kite, but I started going to the kite festival just to watch and take pictures. Then I moved down to Tulsa about 3 years ago and I was looking for something to do, and lo and behold on the news I saw about the Tulsa Wind Riders Kite Festival.
The Tulsa Wind Riders, they started around about 1985. We've been flying kites out at 43rd and Garnett. We just started to form a kite club and start doing kiting activities. We don't hold elections, we don't have dues, we don't have a lot of meetings. We just basically meet at the fields and fly and discuss what needs to be done for whatever coming event is up.
They were setting up the tent and looked like they needed some help. So I offered to help them set up the tent, and I met them all, and I did photography for the club that weekend, and then I decided I needed to get a kite. And so now I went from one kite, and now I have about 300 kites in less than 3 years' time. There is a festival in Topeka called the Twisted Lines Kite Festival, and that's the kite festival that I caught on to kiting about. And started going to that festival, and then when I moved down here I started looking for other festivals, and I knew when I met the kiters here, they knew everyone that I had ever met up in Topeka at that kite festival. So now we kind of go back and forth as clubs, and we attend theirs and they attend ours, and it's such a small hobby that people come from, like to this festival and the one we have in Tulsa, people come from Joplin, Midland City, you know, Texas, Houston, Texas, Galveston. We have people from Corpus that come out for our festivals.
A good kite is one that flies. They need to be well made, well manufactured. You know, a lot of people make their own and stuff, and that's fine. It's just, you know, you have to make them for the wind. You know, you can't make them too heavy or too light. They gotta have a certain rigidity and flyability to them.
Basically, you know, you could start at your big box store to just get a cheap kite, you know, but cheap kites, we all know, don't necessarily work that great. You might get frustrated or whatever. It does matter whether you pay $5 or $20. It's not a big sacrifice to pay 20 bucks, but people a lot of times don't realize the benefit of spending that extra $15. They don't realize that $5 is not going to perform, you know.
All kinds of different styles, from box kites to your diamond kites to I mean, any kind of shape you can think of, they're making it as a kite now. Well, it's neat to see people over the years that, you know, maybe they quit coming out, but they'll come out for events, and you think, you know, I used to fly with you years back, you know. But it's good to see people coming out and bringing their families and their kids and their grandkids and stuff out. We get a lot of that coming out. It's very accessible for anyone, no matter what your age or any, you know, everybody can get into it. It's easy.
It doesn't pay you anything back but the reward of the children just seeing, and children of all ages, you know, when I say that, you know. Everybody comes out and they see something that they've never seen before, and they're just like, wow, you know, and that wow factor is really, it makes it worth doing it all, you know.